So, do you know that Marvel has their own Suicide Squad type team called the Thunderbolts? I mean, of course you do. I mean, even DreamWorks is doing something like that. Okay, it's been 3 months now that we got in 2 Suicide Squad movies. You heard me right. I said 2 Suicide Squad movies, specifically, and it's time to compare them to see which of them are superior. Oh, and just a little disclaimer, I am not a big fan of both of these teams. I prefer the Sinister Six and the Legion of Doom, so I do not care for the Suicide Squad or the Thunderbolts. If you guys do care about both of these anti-heroes team, then that's fine, but regardless, let's begin. I almost laughed for a minute. Like, what story, exactly? There's no story in both of these films. This movie was just made as an excuse to get the villains to work together, and the plot was there for a need to end, just to get the suicide mission already. Well, although, I gotta say, I'm less surprised how well-paced the Thunderbolts is. The villains get to interact with each other and develop a friendship, or you may say. But the Suicide Squad has more going on. Each villain's had a deep, dark backstory, but so of the Suicide Squad. They have a backstory as well, and it was personal. Well, for how generic I think these teams are, I can kind of see a little growth there, but sadly, we don't get to see enough of it. Okay, terms of characters, well, there's no characters here. They're mostly just villains. Okay, well, outside of the character development, it's just mainly disappointing and just flat. Like, Taskmaster just got. The Suicide Squad also wasted characters in the beginning. Like, there's a few villains that's from the first movie just got killed off, and then the rest, well, it's pretty much it. Well, for what it's worth, I see why they call it the Suicide Squad, because these villains are willing to die saving the world. Well, there's nothing special of the plots and characters in the Thunderbolts. It just comes up as, what's this word again? Generic, just like the Suicide Squad. I would say it is embarrassing that I found the plot in the Suicide Squad to be better, even though Harley Quinn was just completely useless in this movie. Okay, now that I'm talking about it, when you compare these two teams, the Thunderbolts does not have enough villains, because the Suicide Squad has a lot more villains besides the main teammates, and the Thunderbolts does not have enough villains, and that makes them a bit standard at decent. Well, the Suicide Squad did something which they did tried, but ended up being mediocre in my opinion. And the heck, this movie was directed by the same guy that did the new Superman movie, and I could have been impressed if he really worked that hard. Whatever, the movie with the superior story and villains is the Suicide Squad. Okay, now let's talk about the action segment. Just plain basic and not impactful. In fact, I am not even impressed with the action at the end of the movie. It was just average, like I expected. I mean, seriously, I have seen much better action in the Loud House movies. The kind of action that I should be watching again right now on YouTube. Well, as for the action in the Suicide Squad, well, it was also average. Okay, well, on paper, the action is cool, but also so basic when you come down to it. And like I said, I'd rather be watching the action in the Loud House movies again. But for what I saw, I found the action in the Suicide Squad a little bit more entertaining. Because the difference is that the Suicide Squad is rated R, and the Thunderbolts was just PG-13. So unlike the Thunderbolts, the Suicide Squad is not afraid to add some blood and gore into the action. And that is such a big holdback for the Thunderbolts. And plus on that, the ending of the movie just made this whole entire movie feel like such a waste.
Gentlemen, meet the new Avengers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I announce to you the Thunderbolts. Yeah, that's right. That is the actual anti-hero team name that you're yoking for. Yelena will never be just like her sister. The Red Guardian will never be the next Hulk. Bucky will never be the next Captain America. They're just anti-heroes. They're villains. They're Thunderbolts. So they don't deserve to be called the new Avengers. And the heck, they even renamed the movie title The New Avengers for no freaking reason. But that's besides my point. Okay, if it was just Thunderbolts, when there's bad guys, there's also worse guys. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this round. The main villain in the Suicide Squad, we have Star-Lord. Well, Star-Lord the Conqueror. And he is actually the Justice League in this movie. Okay, I like Century at first in this movie. I thought the Thunderbolts had some potential with him being in this movie. Superman vs. the Justice League is far more, well, as Thunderbolts a run for their money, as much Star-Lord did with the Suicide Squad. Okay, the climax battle scene is not great either, but Star-Lord did at least pull up a heck of a challenge for the Suicide Squad members. Okay, although the way that they defeated Star-Lord was a bit too underwhelming, and I wish they killed this thing in a much cooler way, but that's what we got, I guess. Yeah, I don't think there's something else that I need to say. The movie with the superior, worst guys, without a doubt, my opinion again, is the Suicide Squad. Okay, you guys seem to be under the impression of disagreements, and believe me, I was expecting to enjoy and have wait for a minute. I am not done here. The logic of these movies that I couldn't get over with, of how these villains even survive during the building collapse, especially Bloodsport landing on his feet like he's some Black Panther. Okay, I know it was just a comic book movie, but the more that you think about the logic here, the more it doesn't make sense. And I could say the same for the Thunderbolts, villains interacting with each other. Well, I was going to give it a 5 out of 10. But when you get to the part that the Century was underused, and a ridiculous ending for the movie with them being called the New Avengers, well, my score for the Thunderbolts has come down to a 3 out of 10. Okay, I know I piss you guys off, but that's just my personal opinion. Well, if you like these movies, then that's completely fine. You're entitled to your opinion. But regardless, and for what it's worth, I am glad that I get to make this video. Okay, the reason why I haven't been posting for a while, because my phone wasn't working. It won't turn on. So I got myself a new phone recently, and it pretty much worked better. But the problem is that my old phone has my account, and that includes the new channel that I just started. But good thing that I posted new videos on my different channel, because if I was not making YouTube videos to begin with, then I would never watch The Suicide Squad. Making a reboot of The Suicide Squad, then I will completely ignore that for good. Well, anyway, just let me know in the comments down below of which movie do you prefer and why. My name is Isaiah Belfort, and I will see you guys next time.